every day I wake up and think, if you had told me when I was in high school that I would get to have friends like Kevin Nealon and get to be in this business and create and still pay the rent, I would be so happy.
A popular college professor found dead in a hot tub. Accident or murder? Suspected her boyfriend. Then, a stunning act from their host. A sudden shotgun blast.
There's something he's hiding.
Follow and listen to the 48 Hours podcast on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Mo Rocca, and I'm back with Season 3 of my podcast, Mobituaries. I'm looking forward to introducing you to more of my favorite dead people and things. From the girl whose plea for peace made international news.
She was that beam of sunshine that broke through the cold ice of Cold War.
To the woman of 1,000 voices.
The Meryl Streep of voice actors.
Listen to Mobituaries on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, I'm Jamie Wax, and this is the CBS Mornings Podcast. Kevin Nealon has long been known for his work on Saturday Night Live, as well as being a comedian's comedian and an actor in television and film. Now he has a new project out, I Exaggerate, My Brushes with Fame. Portraits and Stories by Kevin Nealon. It's a book of incredibly detailed caricatures by the comedian and actor. He sat down with us in Los Angeles at his home with his longtime friend and colleague Conan O'Brien to talk about his career and this new twist.
You know, I love my work and I love talking to interesting people who I admire, but this is kind of my comedy dream right here. What is this real life? I'm not entirely sure.
Well, thank you. Conan's also here. So.
Incredible. I came here because I want to support Kevin in everything he's doing. I love this guy.
He's the best. He will not say no to anything I ask him to do, which makes it kind of fun.
I said no to this 3 times.
Well, this is the only one.
Yeah, but I'm thrilled to be here because this is a very talented man. And I wanted to show my support for this amazing book that he's done. He has a pleasant odor.
He actually does smell very nice.
He smells, it's a minty and there's a little bit of cedar in there.
And?
I don't know where that comes from.
Cedar and?
And you're very needy.
No, and spice.
Okay.
Spices.
Oh, cedar and spice.
You can clean this up in editing.
Don't worry, this will be tightly edited. And we have computer programs that match your voice.
Terrific. We don't even need to be here. In fact, really, we're not here.
We're just getting B-roll right now, yes. Conan, it is a big statement. I mean, you are asked to do a whole lot of things. I mean, there is a documentary about you called Conan O'Brien Can't Stop, but you do stop. And you have a lot going on, and you chose to be here today to talk about your friend Kevin.
I left my coat here at a party about 3 weeks ago. I came back to get it, and then you guys are here doing this. No, I met Kevin at Saturday Night Live way back in 1988.
Yeah, 2 years into his term there.
That's right.
And you were a newbie.
I was a new kid, and he, at the time, really stuck out for me on the cast. He was my favorite cast member. I just love the kind of comedy he did. So smart, so funny, so understated. And we became friendly way back then, and we've stayed friends. Look at me. I'm right here.
Over 12 years. Yeah. And then we broke up for a while. And then we got back together again.
Our lawyers worked it out and we decided to become friends again.
So you're legally obligated to be friends now? Or?
Yes. No, but, and this is the way a lot of people feel about Kevin when he calls up and asks you to do something. It's Kevin, so you do it. And then you resent him, but you still do it.
You know what's incredible about Kevin Nealon? This is the second time I've gotten to sit across from him and interview him, and he's one of my favorite comics. And if I see that he's going to be on the roster of a comedy club, it's a definite yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, that is the truth, because I know I'm going to see new material from you, and I know it's very thoughtful and observational, but it also has a very specific worldview and perspective, just like what we're sitting here in a room full of right now. Tell me about Kevin Nealon. This is my Barbara Walters question. Who is Kevin Nealon?
Don't cry.
Oh, trust me, I wasn't close to crying. We're not that close. Kevin, very talented, and one of the reasons we're here today is that I remembered this. We were working together on something, and I noticed This is years ago, probably back in 1989 or 1990, and I noticed that Kevin was sketching me. And I started to take my clothes off. He said, no, it's not that kind of sketch. We did that later.
Well,
and it's beautiful.
Not like one of his French girls.
Yeah,
Yes, I understand.
and so he was sketching me, and you included that sketch in the book.
Yeah.
It's very unflattering, but you can see his talent. You gave me a very long, broken nose.
Well, there's about 4 sketches of you. I'm not sure which ones are in the book, but one of them you are actually naked except for your shorts. You had your shirt off, you're laying on the couch, looking at a shoe. He used to look at his wingtip shoes. He'd set them on the table.
Do you really just love your wingtip shoes? What was that about?
When I was bored with whoever I was with, I would take off my shoe and study it to sort of show my contempt for the person, meaning I'd rather look at this shoe than talk to you.
He looked at his shoe, and I was sketched.
Yeah, and he sketched it. So all these years later, I didn't even realize that Kevin was doing this, but he kept working on his artistic ability, and then he came out with this book, which is incredible. I mean, these are amazing caricatures of people, really beautifully done.
I didn't mean them to be caricatures. They just happen to become caricatures.
Oh, that's rough.
This is as photorealistic as you get?
These are portraits.
Is that true?
Yeah. No.
Okay. No.
Good. Well, I was like, wow. Now
He
this
also
is...
has very severe eye problems. That's how we diagnosed you, and we got you that surgery. No, he's really captured these people beautifully, and I was blown away when I saw the book. I really was. I was, and a little hurt that he didn't update my sketch from 1990 to one of these incredible caricatures. I'm not in the book.
Well, because you're a friend. He wouldn't want me to make fun of you, would you? When he says updated his character, he's disappointed. All it would have been was from a smile to a frown.
Oh, that's what's changed about Conan?
That's the evolution of my career, pretty much. Yeah.
He's not a happy man.
Yeah.
He's not a happy man.
But there is a really funny sketch from your show and I had seen online some of the artistry of what you do, Kevin, and you go on his show and you say, I'm going to sketch you, and I'm thinking, this is going to be magic. What is going to happen here in the next 5 minutes, we're going to see one of these emerge, but instead you did it like a very bad boardwalk caricaturist. You just let it, you hid your talent.
But that's the kind of, he would always, my writers always loved Kevin's appearances, just loved them because he would try things, he would take chances, wasn't afraid to swing and completely miss. No. He'd always take these chances and be so funny, but he came on my show once and said, I'm just going to sketch you. And for the entire time we're talking, he's sketching me and then does the reveal, which is in comedy a big risk, but you never see anybody do anything like that on a talk show. And it was fantastic. It was really great.
Yeah, it was great.
Say thank you, Conan.
Thank you, Conan.
Thank you for
But
the
you're right.
compliment.
He was the only host that would let me try new things like that.
But you show up with material, which is what a host dreams of while they're trying to create
The writers dream of that too.
Yeah, the writers want someone else to do the work.
Yeah.
So, but I just, you told me you were working on some of these portraits, and the first one you showed me was Eddie Vedder, and I was blown away because I thought, well, Kevin's good, but then I saw that was the first one you showed me was Eddie Vedder, and I was stunned at how amazing it is. Have you heard from the people that you've...
Well, that's a good question. I have not heard from many of the people, probably for good reason. But I have heard from a few. Eddie Vedder, I didn't hear from it directly, but my manager is friends with him, and he said he loved it. He loved it.
It's funny because a character is actually very flattering. It's fun to laugh at yourself a little bit and see what someone highlights, and that it's often the things you look in the mirror and go, oh, God.
Yeah, that's true. It's like when we had a guest host on SNL, people would think that why is he making fun of himself like this? And they would love being on there. Or why would they even come on the show? Because we've, skewered them so many times. But they come on because they love it. And then if you make fun of them and they leave, they'll send you cases of whatever. Like Dana got a lot of cases from Casey Kasem. tapes of music and stuff. Even if they're not hosting. If you
Even
make
when
fun of
he made fun of the first President Bush.
Yeah.
George H.W. Bush, and he sent him a pardon. Right. And so everybody, a lot of people, if they participate in you making fun of them or giving them a hard time, they're the ones that end up looking great because it shows that they have a good sense of humor, they can take a joke, and so it's very powerful for them.
This October, Paramount Plus is your destination for peak screaming.
Scary equals...
With maniacal movies like Orphan, First Kill.
It's lovely to be back.
Frightening family films like Monster High, the movie.
Welcome to Monster High.
Scary series like Evil, Ghosts, and Teen Wolf.
There's something out there.
Plus an entire collection of other devilish delights. Peak screaming on Paramount Plus. Stream now.
I'm Mo Rocca, and it's been a while. But I've been busy digging up even more stories about the people and things of the past that are fascinating me now.
What did your father think of the label, of the whole idea of the Latin lover?
From the screen idols who redefined Hollywood's leading man.
I think it was a love-hate relationship. My dad hated the word macho.
That's what I call the Latin lover type of a role, which is one-dimensional.
To the dog who introduced millions of kids to classic literature.
I remember, on my 10th birthday, I think it was, we were going to go mini golfing, and I insisted, but we had to stay home for Wishbone first.
Listen to Mobituaries, wherever you get your podcasts.
More from this episode of CBS Mornings after this short break.
I have had the best time doing research for this interview because I loved looking at these images and looking again and picking a new favorite and looking at what it is that captures. I mean, I'm just looking at all of these people. I mean, we captured something about Prince that is not what you would see in the photograph that would accompany an article about Prince. You've captured something about Anthony Bourdain in the same way. All of these people, Andy Kaufman. It is refreshing in a way in this day and age to look at a bunch of these images that both capture us and make a little fun at us and realize we don't really live in a time right now where we're that light about ourselves. We're all taking ourselves very seriously. And I didn't realize that I would have kind of a deep feeling that this was kind of important right now. I was surprised by that.
Yeah, I didn't think it was important.
We still don't think it's not important at all.
I think it's very good. I think this is a book people should run out and buy. It'd make a great gift. In terms of its historical importance, we'll have to see.
Yes, we'll see what museum acquires this collection.
Long after Kevin's gone, we'll know. So, 2 years from now.
If I may, 1 second. Oh, sorry. One of the reasons I really started open these. One of the reasons I started doing it is during the pandemic. Yeah. There wasn't much, I couldn't do stand-up, so this is a verbal way of, a nonverbal way of getting laughs.
Right, and creating.
And creating, and they're just, some of them will make you laugh if you know who the person is.
Conan, do you have any favorites that really jump out?
Yeah, I do. They're not in the book. No.
He's just looking at any one of them right now.
Yeah. Seriously, I noticed what I really loved is you have one of Norm Macdonald, who we lost over a year ago, and who is just one of the most brilliant comedians ever. And you did one of Norm, and I always thought, what is it about Norm? And I came to the conclusion that it was the eyes and the cheeks, and you really nailed it.
Let me get that one for you.
Yeah. No, I mean, really, it's...
it is. It does.
There's something about Norm's eyes that are... They really capture... This captures his spirit because they were mischievous.
Yes.
Almost like a Halloween pumpkin that's darting around. He's up to no good, but there's also a kind of benevolence there. And I thought this really captured Norm very well.
He could get away with so much because there was nothing mean about the guy.
Right.
And it was there in that face right there.
And people loved Norm. People loved Norm. Even though sometimes he was a train wreck, they just, I mean,
okay, as someone who started out as a writer and writing behind the scenes of two of the most respected shows in the world, and then got your shot and was pushed out there, criticized like hell for how long? A year? How long was your cycle before people realized how good your show was because they were just mad?
I think it took, young people sort of embraced it right away.
That's right.
And then that was, but I didn't know that at the time because we didn't have any internet. So,
so you just thought everyone hated you.
Yeah. And then, so it was about, I would say, a good solid year of just feeling a year and a half.
Was it only a year?
I'd say a year and a half.
Oh, I thought it was a long, long time.
You, I think, hated me for about 15 years. But that was for a different
16,
reason.
16.
I owed him a lot of money, and I never paid it back.
It was actually Bitcoins.
Yeah.
Oh, before they were, but they, okay.
So, yeah.
A lot of people don't know this. Conan comes from old crypto. Sure.
My great-grandfather got us into crypto.
They had a Bitcoin mine.
Yeah. Real mine.
In a crypt, but an actual crypt.
Exactly.
I understand. But this is a real question about, because you brought up Norm Macdonald and Kevin Nealon. I think about them when I'm looking at all of this. Like, you had this incredible trajectory on camera that came for you, that enabled you to create, if I may say, one of the largest deals in show business history recently.
That's where the crypto comes from.
I hope you're part of that.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I mean, you've done well for yourself through a lot of struggles and a lot of disappointments, a lot of people not delivering on their promises. So you understand show business incredibly well.
Oh, yeah.
There are people who have been catapulted to the heights of fame out of Saturday Night Live that you've watched. And I think of lots of them come.
There's just it's an endless list of people that come from Saturday Night Live.
But then there are people, and I would include you in this, who've done we're sitting in a beautiful home.
Right.
Kevin has a wonderful life and has had an incredibly steady career over decades.
Right. See what you can have? Do you see that?
But to me, I think Kevin Nealon, Norm Macdonald deserved to be that, a whole team is making movies for them.
Yes, I'm on board with that.
Not just the
Me
second
too.
lead on
Me
a sitcom,
too. Right.
that kind of thing. Am I wrong about that, about him?
Well, I think it's interesting because Kevin's a purist. He always has been a purist. Like, he has very high standards, and I've never seen Kevin compromise in his comedy. And so sometimes that makes things can make for probably a little harder fit. But I mean, I think to not compromise in your comedy and be as good as Kevin is, he's killed it. I think he's absolutely killed it.
Is this something that you two bonded on early? Because I think of you both as people who have a lack of compromise.
Well, first of all, it's true what he said. I don't quite remember what you just said, but it is true. It is true. Confidence? No, we have a lot of confidence. Is that what you mentioned?
Compromise. You refuse to compromise.
Oh, I have no comment on that.
You don't respect the question, so you will not answer it.
You do have to compromise in this business.
Yeah.
Otherwise you'll be sleeping in a car somewhere, like Conan. And
it's a really nice car I sleep in.
Nice. It's nice. The seats go way back.
It's got a queen-size bed in the back.
I try not to compromise. You don't have to do a lot of compromising, but sometimes you do.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about doing your own thing, you don't have to compromise. You do what you want to do. It's the same with stand-up comedy. But when you start working for the man, go ahead, take it, Conan.
Yes, the man. I don't know. I think I think we've both been pretty fortunate in that we've largely been able to sort of use our own voices and be in this business, which is really a gift. Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, that's the idea. A writer at The Simpsons, George Meyer, told me a long time ago, you can make this much money in show business doing something you hate, or this much money doing something that gives you great joy, and this much is still so much more than you ever thought you would get as a child. And that's true. I think a lot of people spend a lot of time out here in Los Angeles and maybe New York and some other places just obsessing about how come this person has a little more than me and how come I can't have that. And every day I wake up and think, if you had told me when I was in high school that I would get to have friends like Kevin Nealon and get to be in this business and create and still pay the rent, I would be so happy. So that's, to me, the positive way to look at all this, is that you're looking at two people that just are getting to do exactly what they want to do. And look at Kevin, all through this terrible time of COVID, he was making this, and it's a fantastic book. It's a great output. And so that's a gift. He gets to do that, and we get to enjoy it.
What are your, you guys, I really love this interplay and how it's a constant trade of insults to each other. But obviously, there's a lot of love underneath it.
Yeah. Well, way underneath it.
Very
you really
deep,
have to scrape very deep. No, this is the relationship we've had since the beginning, and it's relationship. A lot of comedians do this. I've noticed this when I hang around. When I've had the good fortune to hang around like a Martin Short and a Steve Martin, they're constantly just tearing into each other, and there's no two people that love each other more. It's done with great affection, and they're really good at it. Yeah. So it's just fun to do.
But what are your hopes for your friend here? I mean, this is his interview. You know, you're coming in here. We're delighted to have you. But what are your hopes?
I was not invited. I just walked in.
You just showed up. But what are your hopes for Kevin Nealon?
I'm sorry, I was sleeping. What were you saying?
Okay, I mean, he's got it all. He's got a beautiful family, and so there's not much I can.
I don't deserve any more.
No, trust me. You have way more than you deserve. You should kiss the ground every day. You should wake up and say thank you, God. I think. It's hard to ask for more for Kevin Nealon. He is absolutely revered among all comedy people, and so respected. He came on my podcast the other day, and when he walked out, all the writers that were there and all the creative people that were there and the whole staff just stood up and started applauding because they thought he was so funny in the interview. And he couldn't hear any of that because we're in a soundproof booth, sure. And he can't hear Joy anyway. But it was just nice to see. That's the kind of due that Kevin gets from everybody in the comedy community.
What were they saying when I left?
Did he buy that? Did he? Because it wasn't good. No, they just kept repeating lines that you had said.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah, and then in front of the writers, Kevin looked at me as he was walking out the door and said, "Conan, why'd you stop working out?" And they love to see you go after me in front of them. And the truth is,
who doesn't? Who doesn't? He is such a target, man. He's a sitting target.
I really am.
Were you like that as a kid?
I was. Yeah.
You're an easy target?
Easy target, always. Yeah.
And that's why you have so much hatred now for people?
That's right. That's right.
But is that also why you informed an entire generation, 2 generations probably, of self-deprecation? It was because you were going to make the joke before they did?
Yeah, yes. That's how it works. Yeah, I had bright orange hair, freckles, and my first name was Conan. So I had to get the insults in on myself before anybody else could.
I understand it.
Still,
yeah. You know, my
Only
wife.
with you, Kevin, I think.
I guess so. No one could behave around you like I do, can they?
What do you mean?
I mean, be so, cool. Denigrating and cool.
Have you met my wife?
Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
That's my home life. That's the dynamic at home with me is my lovely wife Liza is really sharp and funny, and so are my kids, and they're not having any of it. I come home and I get zinged left and right, and it's good for me.
It's healthy,
and I desperately want to move out. I want out.
Well, I think Kevin's got space if you need it.
Yeah, exactly. I watch sycophants.
Don't you like, though, that I can do that without fear of being fired or getting divorced?
You mean? It's a safe space for us. You and I are such good friends. We love each other. I said love. We've known each other a really long time. And it's a safe space. And that we need more of in this country right now. That's what we need more of. People feeling the safety and the security to ridicule each other viciously. Oh, he's gone again.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
It's fine. I tried to be nice to you. He can't handle it. There's a rare disease where he passes out the minute someone's sincere.
When he gets a compliment?
Yeah.
It's a sincere compliment?
I don't believe it coming from him. It's more of a defensive mechanism for him.
Yeah.
I don't sense that at all.
I was being honest.
Well, I stand corrected.
Yeah. Well, you're sitting.
You sit correct.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tell us about you.
I think
I hope you had as much fun listening as I did doing that interview. For CBS Mornings, I'm Jamie Wax.
Now streaming.
I used to believe in progress, that no matter what we do, we just end up back at the start.
We're in crazy time.
The Paramount Plus original series, The Good Fight, returns for its final season.
The point isn't the end. The point is winning. Yes!
There are bad people in the world. The best way to protect the good people is to convict the bad.
So here's to us.
The Good Fight, the final season, now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus.
The Young and the Restless has been the #1 daytime drama for 35 consecutive years. Now, in its 50th season, fans can enjoy their favorite soap in podcast form. Y&R revolves around the lives and loves of the residents in Genoa City. This Midwestern metropolis is filled with generations of a wide variety of characters. Every week, hear all the rivalries, romances, hopes, and fears from the Emmy Award-winning series delivered directly to your ears. Watch The Young and the Restless weekdays on CBS, streaming on P+, and listen wherever you get your podcasts.